नमस्सर्वेभ्यः अस्माकं योगनिष्ठजीवनम् इति वर्गे भवतां सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। एतावता अस्माभिः आहारस्य विषये बहुधा चर्चा कृता। तत्र we talked about sattvic ahar so far. So we said that we have to take whole food plant-based diet, right? Increasing the amount of raw vegetables and fruits every day, and completely avoiding company products, avoiding restaurants, and avoiding SOS, salt, oil, sugar, and also dairy products. And we said that is the yogic way of life. So when we say that, some people might ask, this is like this is very, very extreme. Why we are following a very extreme approach, right? Why can't we have a balanced approach, include all of these little bit and have a balanced approach? Why should we follow this extreme approach? That is a question generally we get, right? The people say everything should be in balance. So the answer to that question is that when a student is has taken the test and has got 100% marks in a test, then nobody goes to the student and say that it is very extreme, it's too extreme, it's too good, we should have balance in life, right? So nobody says that. So that's not right, because if the student has excelled in the exam, everybody is happy with that. We always appreciate that somebody has excelled, is getting 100%. So similarly in the case of food, right, then we know what is right. So there are two scales, the scale of excellence and scale of balance, and we should not get confused between the two scales. So when we're talking about food, we're talking about the scale of excellence, and it is not a scale of balance, right? So for instance, if a person is smoking 2 packs of cigarette every day, and he says, okay, I want to reduce my cigarette to 1 pack. So would we say that having 1 pack of cigarette is okay? So in the same way, like for food, it is a scale of excellence, it's not a scale of balance. We know something is good and something is bad, so we have to take what is good. What is bad, let me take little bit of it. No, that is not how it is, right? If something is bad, then it is bad, right? Whether you take it little or more, it's still bad. So we should not get confused between the two scales. We should not compromise on that. We should always try to achieve 100%. When it comes to the right and wrong, what is good and what is bad, we should achieve 100%. So we should be very careful with food, because it has profound spiritual implications. So that was the first aspect, is the ahara, satvik ahara. Idanim tatah agre agrimavishayah asti upavasah. Tarhi upavasah नाम किम् इति चेत् तत्र पदद्वयं वर्तते, उप अपि च वासः. उप मीन्स् नियर्, समीपं. वासः इत्युक्ते वसनम्. उपवासः इत्युक्ते समीपे वसनं, समीपे निवासः. तर्हि कस्य समीपे निवासः इति चेत्, यस्मिन् दिने वयम् उपवासं कुर्मः तस्मिन् दिने वयं परमपुरुषेण सह सामीप्यं प्राप्नुमः, इतोपि समीपं वसामः. चैतन्यस्य समीपे वसनम् इत्येव उपवासः. सामान्यस्य अपेक्षया इतोपि समीपे निवासः एव उपवासः. तर्हि उपवासः, so generally speaking, जनाः फास्टिंग इति कुर्वन्ति. तदा यदा फास्टिंग कुर्वन्ति तदानीं प्रायेण जनाः किं कुर्वन्ति इति चेत्, इदानीम् अद्य अहं केवलं फलानि एव स्वीकरोमि, किमपि अन्यत् न खादामि, फलानि स्वीकरोमि, अथवा तत्र अन्यत् किमपि, अद्य अन्नं न स्वीकरोमि परन्तु साबुदाना इति तादृशं किमपि स्वीकरोमि इति एवमेव भवति. कदाचित् अपि निर्जल उपवासः इति प्रायेण जनाः न कुर्वन्ति, तथा न कुर्वन्ति. उपवासः इत्युक्ते प्रायेण फास्टिंग इति एव वदन्ति. फास्टिंग इत्युक्ते I will eat one time, I will eat fruits, or I will eat something different, I will not eat too much. So that is what is upavasa. But what we are talking about here, atra yad vayam vadamah tattu nirjala upavasah iti artha iti eva upavasah asti. Atra upavasasya visheshah arthah, upavasah ityukte paramatmanah समीपे वसनम् एव उपवासः. सामान्यस्य अपेक्षया इतोपि समीपे निवासः. यदा वयं भोजनं स्वीकुर्मः, सामान्यतया यदा वयं प्रतिदिनं त्रिवारं भोजनं स्वीकुर्मः, तदानीम् अस्माकं रसगुल्माः उत्साहिताः भवन्ति. Our taste buds all get excited. अस्माकं रसगुल्माः उत्साहिताः भवन्ति. अतः यत्किमपि भोजनं वा भवतु, नाम शाकः भवतु, फलानि वा भवतु, यत्किमपि भवतु, अन्नं भवतु, यत्किमपि वयं खादामः, तस्मिन् दिने यस्मिन् कस्मिन्नपि दिने यदा वयं भोजनं स्वीकुर्मः तदानीं we get little bit attracted by the food. अस्माकं रसगुल्माः उत्साहिताः भवन्ति. right? तर्हि अत्र अन्यत् अपि वक्तव्यं यत् मनः इति यद् वस्तु अस्ति, मनः इति एकमेव अस्ति. मनः एकस्मिन् समये एकमेव विषयं स्वीकरोति. मनः तत्र बहून् विषयान् स्वीकर्तुं मनसि सामर्थ्यं नास्ति. यद्यपि जनाः वदन्ति मल्टिटास्किङ्ग् इति किमपि वदन्ति खलु, मल्टिटास्किङ्ग्, अहं बहूनि कार्याणि एकस्मिन् समये एव करोमि इति, तथा किमपि नास्ति. मनसि तादृशसामर्थ्यं नास्ति. एकस्मिन् समये एकमेव वस्तु भवति. मनसः एकस्मिन् समये एकः एव विषयः भवितुम् अर्हति. यद्यपि मनः झटिति गच्छति, एकं विषयं स्वीकृत्य ततः अग्रे इतोपि अन्यत् स्वीकर्तुम्, अन्यं विषयं स्वीकर्तुम् अर्हति मनः, परन्तु एकस्मिन् समये एकम् एव विषयं स्वीकरोति इति अपि स्मर्तव्यम्. अतः तत्र उपवासः इति यस्मिन् दिने अस्माकं मनः परमपुरुषेण सह सम्बद्धं भवति. रैट्, परमपुरुषेण सम्बद्धं भवति. तस्मिन् दिने वयं जगति जीवामः, परन्तु परमपुरुषेण सह सम्बद्धम् एव वयं जीवामः इति तत्र वैशिष्ट्यमस्ति. अनेन कः लाभः इति चेत् एतादृश उपवासेन अस्माकं वैराग्यम् अधिकं भवति. वैराग्यं नाम किमिति अग्रे पश्यामः. तर्हि निर्जलोपवासः इत्युक्ते किम् इति चेत् 36 घण्टापर्यन्तम् अन्नं जलं यत्किमपि भोजनं वयं न स्वीकुर्मः. अन्नस्य अपि त्यागः, अपि च फलानि यत्किमपि भोजनं भवतु, अपि च जलम् इति एतेषां सर्वेषां त्यागः तस्मिन् दिने वयं न स्वीकुर्मः. तर्हि उपवासः इत्युक्ते उपवासः कष्टप्रदः अस्ति इत्युक्ते बहु कष्टं भवति इति तथा नास्ति, तथा न चिन्तनीयं. तत्र एकं दिनं शरीरं भोजनात् विश्रान्तिं प्राप्नोति. इत्युक्ते तत्र अस्माकं डैजेस्टिव् सिस्टम् यदस्ति तस्य कृते विरामः भवति तस्मिन् दिने. Right, even animals also do fasting. So fasting is actually for animals, their whole thing is designed in such a way they automatically do fasting. For human beings, we have to decide, and we have to do fasting on specific days, right? So when we do fasting, we do the fasting on Ekadashi. Ekadashi is the day that we do fasting. So Ekadashi 2 times a month, Ekadashi fasting. So for beginners who are starting with, they can do 2 times fasting on Ekadashi, and and generally the yogis do fasting 4 times a month, right? 2 times on Ekadashi, 1 time on Amavasya, and 1 time on Paurnami. So 4 times a month yogis do fasting, and fasting is very, very good for your health, and also it is very good for your mind. It has double benefit. It's good for your mind, also it's good for your manah. So it helps vairagasya vardhanartham bahu labhadayakam asti. Upavasah iti न केवलं मनसः कृते अपि च शरीरस्य कृते अपि लाभदायकम् अस्ति. तर्हि अत्र किञ्चित् तत्र आङ्ग्लभाषायामपि वदामि, यतोहि अत्र विषयः सर्वेषां बोधः भवतु इति. तर्हि उपवास means upa means near, vasa means living or residing. So living near what is an actual question. So upavasa means living near that very supreme consciousness, living even nearer than usual, right? So when we take food, then no matter whatever kind of food that we are taking, it is an interaction with the world outside of us, right? So we are putting something into our mouth. When we put something into our mouth, then automatically we get attracted. We get attracted by the flavor of the food. Our taste buds get excited by the food. So then it diverts our mind, no matter, right? It makes the mind attracted to the food that one is eating. So I was also saying that mind is one, so you can only think about one thing at a time. So when you're eating food, your mind is engrossed with the food, so at that time you're not thinking about Parama Purusha, you're thinking about only about the food. So even though the people talk about multitasking, there is actually no thing as multitasking. Multitasking is means doing multiple things at a time, right? But the mind cannot do multiple things at a time. The mind can quickly switch from one subject to another, right? It has a it moves very fast, right? It moves very fast, so it can quickly change subjects from one to another, but it can only think about one thing at a time, right? We will be talking about the structure of the mind, how it works, everything later on. But the thing to remember is that mind cannot think multiple things. Mind cannot do multitasking. It can only do one thing at a time. So like for instance, if a child if it's deeply engrossed in playing, then even if the mother calls the child and asks him to come, the child will not listen to the mother, right? So it is not that the child is intentionally ignoring the mother, because it is involved in the play, right? It is playing, and its mind is fully occupied by the game, so it's not hearing the mother calling him. So we have several doorways to this external world, right? We have the pancha indriyani, the ears, eyes, nose, mouth, and the faculty of touch. So when the mind is engaged in hearing something, it is deeply focused on what it is hearing, then the visual information, like the eyes are open, but the mind is not seeing those things, right? Because the mind is currently involved in hearing. So if the mind is focused on something, then if the mind is hearing, then if somebody is your eyes are open but you're not seeing anything, right, you're focused on what somebody is speaking because you're hearing, right? So sometimes what happens is when you're seeing something, you're engrossed in seeing something, then the ears are open but ears are not hearing anything, right? The ears are working fine, but the mind is attached with what you're seeing, so the ears are not hearing. So when somebody takes food, right, and when somebody tastes something, then it is natural for the mind at that moment to be diverted by the flavor of what somebody is eating. It's very, very natural, right? So we eat 3 times a day, so the mind gets diverted 3 times a day by the food that we eat, right? This is very natural and it is accepted, right? That but there are ways to deal with this. How can we deal with it? When they're eating, the mind is engrossed in the food. So how to deal with that, right? There are ways to deal with that. We'll be talking about brahmacharyam a lot later on, okay? But with regard to the upavasa, so upavasa is not a day of kashtam, right? It is not a day we are going to have suffering, right? Upavasa represents a special opportunity to be living in the world, but being to a higher degree, you're living in the world but having the mind involved strictly with Paramapurusha on that day. So upavasa is the day for not taking food and water, right? So we will not call it as fasting, right? It is not the purpose is not anashanam. The purpose is not not just taking food and water. The purpose is that that is the day we are living closer to Paramapurusha. That is the day we are living closer to Paramapurusha than usual, even closer to supreme consciousness than we do on other days, and that is the effect of upavasa, right? So upavasa means samipe vasanam eva upavasah. So okay, so what is the purpose of upavasa? Why should we do this nirjala upavasa? So निर्जल उपवासः किमर्थं क्रियते इति चेत् अत्र प्रयोजनं किं? प्रयोजनं विना मन्दः अपि न प्रवर्तते खलु. तर्हि अत्र प्रयोजनं किम् इति चेत् उपवासस्य प्रयोजनं वैराग्यमेव उपवासस्य प्रयोजनं. वैराग्यं नाम किम् इति चेत् विरागस्य भावः वैराग्यं. रागः इत्युक्ते क्रोधः इति न. रागः इत्युक्ते तत्र जगति यानि वस्तूनि सन्ति तेषां विषये अस्माकम् आसक्तिः यदा भवति तदानीं रागः इति वदामः. आङ्ग्लभाषायां कलर् इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः. The mind being colored by the objects of the world, mind being colored by the things with which it interacts in this world. Tadeva ragah, right? Vairagyam ityukte tadrisha bhavah nasti. Viragasya bhavah ityukte not being colored by the objects of the world is viraga. Viragasya bhavah vairagyam. So किमर्थम् उपवासः क्रियते इति चेत् वैराग्यं लभ्यते. उपवासः यदा क्रियते तदानीं वैराग्यं तत्र लभ्यते. मनः परमात्मनः सह संलग्नं भवति. तदर्थमेव तत्र निर्जल उपवासः क्रियते अस्माभिः. So this upavasa should be done on Ekadashi, that is the 11th day after the full moon or the new moon. Ekadashi is very, very special time. Why Ekadashi has been selected for upavasa is it's a very special time when the tides in the ocean rise, right? So the moon is actually closer, then the mutual attraction between the moon and the earth is increased, right? Because of that attraction, the tides in the ocean all rise higher. So not only the tides in the ocean but also the water in the body, right, also increases. So the same, not only for the ocean, even the water in the body increases. So when the water in the body increases, what happens is it creates a lot of pressure on the brain, right? That is why you can see that on the Ekadashi day, the people who are having mental illness or having mental problems, are mentally imbalanced, they need more help during those days. They become kind of very unstable during those times, right? So that is why this Ekadashi has been selected as a day for upavasa. So the goal of the yogi, or the goal of a sadhaka, is to have a mental approach to the world of what we call vairagya. So vairagya is the bhava of viraga. Raga is color. So when we living in this material world, people get very attracted, very attached to the objects of the world, right? We interact with this world 24 hours of the day, and we get engrossed by the objects of the world. So upavasa is a day where you can get detached, where you can be connected with Paramapurusha more so, and not be colored by the objects of the world. So it's a very, very special opportunity, and it has a lot of health benefits as well, right? So okay, any questions so far? Okay. Okay, so also one example that comes to mind that Mohoday actually gives, Swarup Mohoday always gives, is that he's a physician in the emergency room, right? So he has observed that during the Ekadashi days, a lot more patients come who are mentally ill, right? People who are mentally imbalanced, a lot more patients come, and it is very true that because of the rise in the water in the body, it creates a lot more pressure on the brain, and that's why people become kind of unstable during those time. And you can see that so it is also having the health benefit. When you don't take food that day, it has a great impact on your mental health and also on your physical health, right? So that is the reason that Ekadashi is the best time for doing Nirjala Upavasa, right? So generally people think fasting means just taking fruits, right? Only taking fruits. No, we're talking about fasting means no food, no water for 36 hours. So let's say that your if Wednesday is your upavasa, if Wednesday is your upavasa day, then that means on Tuesday evening you will have your meal. You will have your last meal on Tuesday evening, your normal meal. So it's not like you're going to overload, right? You just have your normal meal on Tuesday evening, and then after that, from Tuesday evening until Thursday morning, you will not take anything. You will be without food and water. So you do this twice a month, and so the one thing to notice is not a time of suffering, right? So people should not view that this is a time of torture or suffering. So the first time when you're doing it, everybody feels like, oh my god, how can I do this, how can it seems like impossible, right? But that is a natural feeling because we're not used to it. But actually speaking, human beings are designed for doing fasting, right? This is not something we are artificially imposing, right? Our body is designed for it. When you do 2 or 3 times, you'll realize that it is so natural to give that rest, the well needed well deserved rest for your body, right? The well deserved rest for the whole digestive system, right? So in fact, even animals also. Yeah, Priya Bhagini, do you have something to say? Bhagini? Okay.
No, Bhagini.
Okay.
Mahoday?
Yeah. Okay. So 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 what I was saying is that even animals also do fasting, right? So they also do fasting because their whole lifestyle, actually their lifestyle leads to that kind of fasting, and they also do the fasting. So human beings also, we are designed for doing fasting. It's very good for health, and not the whole body gets rest from digestion for that time,
53 and a half,
right?
54.
What is it, Bhagini? Priya Bhagini? किमपि उच्यते वा भवत्या? So so we are not talking about fasting for 5 or 10 days or 15 days. No, we are not talking about such long fast. We are only talking about 36 hours of fasting, right? So so the first time when I did the fasting, I was also had this similar feeling like how others have, is that, oh, is it even possible to do?
I'll give you his full name.
Colombia.
So the first time when you do it, you feel like it's impossible. How can somebody do this, like, without food and water? But then when you do it for the first time, then you realize it's not that difficult, right? It's just only when your regular lunch hour comes, that time you'll feel extremely hungry. But then once that lunch hour crosses, let's say 12 o'clock is your regular lunch hour, and that particular point in time you feel very hungry. But then after that time, then your body is actually automatically used to it. So you just need to mentally prepare your body. Just before the Upavasa day, you need to mentally prepare your body. You need to tell your body that you're not going to get food and water tomorrow. So when you mentally prepare, then the body is also automatically ready for it, right? It's not that difficult. So the first time when you do it, it might seem it's very difficult, but then after you do the second time, third time, it's not that difficult. You can easily do it, right? Actually, in fact, you'll be waiting for the Upavasa day, because that day will be a complete rest for your food. You don't have the hassle of feeding your body, right? So and also one other thing is that the question that comes is that, oh, if I'm without food and water the whole day, will I be able to do my regular work, right? So even though your body is going to be in a delicate condition that day because you're not giving it food and water, but that doesn't mean that you cannot do your regular work. You can carry on with your regular work, whatever you are doing. The only thing is you should not do extremely physically strenuous work. But other than that, your mind is going to be extremely sharp that day. No issues with that. And you can just go about doing whatever you've been doing, right? Whatever work you've been doing. So no issues with that. And so one other thing is that on this upavasa, all of us should try this upavasa, and this is the yogic way of life. The upavasa is part of the yogic way of life. The doing this upavasa has practical ramifications, right? You will feel change. You will feel the change in your entire existence by doing this, right? Means not having upavasa means not having food and water for 36 hours, and the body gets rest for one day, full day, and the mind also gets the benefit of increased vairagya, right? Upavasa means living near Parama Purusha. So the mind, you're living in the world, but with the mind being engrossed in the thoughts of Paramatma, right? So the mind is linked with Parama Purusha even more strongly on that day, compared to other days. And also the thing is, it gives you that bliss. It gives you the bliss of when you do the it gives you the ananda when you do the upavasa. And also the thing about this upavasa is, after you're done with the upavasa, we said we're doing the upavasa on Wednesday, right? Tuesday evening you had the last meal. Wednesday full you did not have any food or water. Thursday morning there is a specific process for breaking the fast, right? So we'll be talking about that. What is the process for breaking the fast, right? In just a minute. Okay. So the cleanliness is very, very important for everybody. For every human being, it is very important. Cleanliness is very important. And for the yogis, even more, cleanliness is very important. A yogi needs to be clean, right? Everybody should take bath every day, right? We should take bath every day. Sometimes people say that, I don't have hot water, so the temperature is very, very cold, so I'm not going to take bath, right? That is not a good attitude. So whatever may be the temperature, we should always have a bath. It is very important to keep our body clean, right? That is about the external cleanliness. So when we talk about the internal cleanliness, right? So after the upavasa, there is a specific procedure for how you can clean your body internally, right? So how do we do that, right? So we have not cleaned our gut since from birth. So we've always been continuously eating, and like 3 times a day without a break. And so the next day morning we empty our bowels, right? When we empty our bowels, we think that our body has become clean, but the matter of the fact is that even after even after emptying the bowels the next day, it is very surprising. Like when you break the fast and when you do this particular procedure that I'll be talking, you'll realize that so much of waste matter is still in your body, and the waste matter that is stuck in your intestines, they are the cause for all kinds of diseases. So this upavasa is a wonderful opportunity for us to clean the gut, right? So it's a very wonderful opportunity to clean the gut, because cleanliness is very important. Whether it is externally or internally, cleanliness is very important. So just like how we take bath every day, right? So we have this digestive tract that starts from the when we take bath externally, right? So internally, how do we keep the internal system clean? Like the digestive tract starts with the mouth and it goes all the way down, right? So the digestive tract needs to be cleaned. So not only the outside of the body, the internally also we have to keep it clean. So actually the entire pathway from mouth down to the anus, right? We can think of it as if it is outside the. We can think of it as if it's outside the body, right? The mouth down to the anus. The mouth has an opening outside, and the anus also has an opening outside. So when we digest the food, we absorb the food from the digestive tract into the body, right? We eat the food, it goes into your digestive tract, and then from there the food gets absorbed into your body, right? So so in a way, the digestive tract is kind of external to the body in that sense, right? So whatever food that we eat, right, the body absorbs into your bloodstream, and you get the nutrients from the food, right? But sometimes what happens is that for some people who eat the food, the nutrients is not fully absorbed from the food, right? So the food actually gets the food gets stuck in the intestine. They just remain in the intestine, right? So somebody who has malabsorption syndrome, there are various syndromes of malabsorption. So they've eaten a lot of food, but they could not digest, right? They could not absorb it into their bloodstream from the digestive tract, and they did not get the nutrients. So the food, what happens is the waste matter gets stuck in your body. The digestive tract has this particular quality of being connected more with the outside world than the other parts of the body. So the digestive tract needs to be clean. So you got food going into the digestive tract every day, right? Every day the food is going on. So unless you have done something that I'm going to explain now, from birth until today, that gut has never been cleaned out, right? Never been emptied. right? There has not been a single day from birth until today the digestive tract has been completely empty, right? So only when the digestive tract is completely empty we can say it is clean, right? So this Ekadashi is the opportunity for keeping making the gut clean, right? And there is a way for doing that, right? So if Wednesday is Ekadashi, then Tuesday evening somebody took a meal, evening you took your last meal, and then Wednesday morning, right, in the natural course you also emptied your bowels, right? And then Wednesday you did not take any food or any water. On Thursday morning you're going to break the fast. So when we break the fast, we take salt water. We basically take 1 liter of warm water. We add 2 spoons of salt, right? 1.5 to 2 spoons of salt. The salt may vary depending on each person, right? So we don't want the water to be too salty. We want it to be slightly salty, but not too salty. If it is too salty, then you will feel like throwing up, right? So what we do is we take 1 liter of warm water. We add 2 spoons of salt, and then also squeeze half a lemon or 1 lemon into the water, and then you continuously sip the water. You keep sipping the water. Within 30 minutes you sip the 1 liter of water, and you keep walking around and moving your body. You should not be sitting down, you should be moving around. And after 30 minutes, after you finish the 1 liter of water, then you take the 2nd liter of water. This time you just add 2 spoons of salt. You are not adding lemon or anything. Again, it's warm water, and then you continue sipping the water. So when you do this, what happens is, right, because of the salt water that we're drinking, it exerts something we call as the osmotic pressure gradient, right? So it exerts a pressure, right? An osmotic pressure gradient is created due to the salt, right, on the digestive tract wall of the intestine. So then what happens is the salt keeps the water from being absorbed into the body, right? The water is not absorbed into the body. So what happens is that if somebody drinks the salt water, especially the morning after Upavasa, then it just goes through like a laxative, right? It just goes straight through rather than being absorbed into the body. So if somebody in that morning, if somebody were to drink water without salt, then that water will be absorbed into the body, and because of the salt, what happens is that it keeps the water in the digestive tract. It doesn't get absorbed, and then when one drinks salt water, it just goes down straight from the mouth to the anus and out the back, and it just cleans the entire gut, right? So you will be really, really surprised that even though you had emptied your bowels on Wednesday in the morning, on the day of the Upavasa, and you did not take any food or water, but then on Thursday morning you will see a lot of waste matter coming out of your body when you're drinking this salt water. So usually it will take around 2 to 3 liters of salt water before your gut is completely cleaned. And there is an instructional manual for you to follow through. What are the steps you need to take? Exactly what I described. So you will be taking 2 to 3 liters of water, the salt water, and you'll be moving around. And you will, after you take the 1 liter or 1.5 liters, you will have the pressure to use the bathroom, and then you'll have to use it multiple times. And what happens is that your gut will get cleaned out completely. So you need to keep drinking water until you get the water that comes out of your body is clean. It is not brownish, right? Because initially brownish matter will come out of your body, but then when you keep drinking water, then there will be a point in time where only clean water comes out, right, which will not have any smell or color, right? So that is the prakriya. So so that even though you have not had any food or water, but still you can see that how much of waste matter is stuck in your body. At the end of the procedure, you'll see that only white water is coming with no color, no smell, nothing. So then you know that your digestive tract has been completely cleaned, and your Upavasa is actually complete, right? So that is actually a very beautiful process for cleaning your internal system, which has never been cleaned. You will just be surprised to know that so much of waste matter was actually in fact stuck in your body, and those are the ones that are causing all different kinds of diseases, right? Particularly for people for whom the digestion is very slow, right? For people whose digestion is very slow and who are very constipated and stuff like that, for those people this is very, very beneficial. It has a lot of benefit, not only for them, for everybody it has a benefit. It just gives you a feeling, after you finish this process, this cleaning process, you will feel that you feel very, very light. You'll have a extreme light feeling, and you just feel like a newborn baby, right? You'll feel like a newborn baby. And when after drinking this 2-3 liters of water, there is no rush to start eating at that point in time. After you've cleaned your digestive tract completely, then when you start to feel hungry, right? So if you usually, after completing this process, it takes like 30 to 45 minutes before you start actually feeling hungry. So there is no rush to start eating at this point, right? When you start eating after doing this process, you should be very careful in terms of what you eat. You should not eat anything very heavy. You should start, because you've finished this upavasa and your system is in a very, very delicate state. You don't want to put a lot of dry food. You want to put very light food. You can take raw fruits and vegetables, maybe take banana, with the right bananas. That will be very easy to digest, right? So the only thing that when you do this procedure, what is that the salt, putting the right amount of salt is the tricky process, right? So that is the place where people get, if you put too little salt, then the process will not work properly. If you put too much of salt, then you feel nauseated. So you need to figure out what is the right amount of salt. Generally, like 1.5 to 2 spoons of salt works perfectly fine. But then it varies from person to person. So you need to put the salt and figure out whether it is too salty or whether it is perfectly fine. And you need to experiment and figure out what is the right proportion and make a note of it, right? So generally using black salt will be very good, because then you will not have difficulty drinking it, right? So but you should make sure that you have enough salt. If you don't have enough salt, then this process will not work, right? You will start urinating instead of getting the brown matter out of your body, right? So especially in the first time when you're doing it, you should just make sure that you have the right amount of salt, because we've heard other people saying that they had too much of salt and they felt nauseated and they had to actually vomit. People vomit, right? So you have to be a little bit careful. So it should not be in a very disagreeable flavor. It should not be too salty, right? So if it is too salty, then you would not feel like drinking it, right? Then you'll feel like, actually, just as you sip it, you'll feel like you want to throw up, right? That means you have too much of salt, that then you need to add a little bit more warm water to it, right? So usually 1 to 1.5 teaspoons to 2 spoons of salt will be fine. So this process usually takes like 2.5 hours to 3 hours. For beginners, definitely it will take 3 hours. So you need to plan on such a day that you have adequate time to do this upavasa. So if people are working, they need to plan accordingly for this completing this process, right? So if you just did the upavasa and didn't do the cleaning process, then there is no benefit. So you need to do the upavasa and do this cleaning process as well to get the complete benefit, because this is an opportunity to clean your complete gut, right? So the first time when you do it, it might take more time, but then it may take like 3 to 3.5 hours. Obviously this depends on each person, right? We have to figure out like how the process is going on for us, right? Because the first time it's a new experiment, right? So for people who have been doing it for a long time, then you know exactly how to do it, and then therefore it becomes quicker. It doesn't take 3 hours. You can finish it in 1.5 hours, 2 hours also you can finish it, right? But the first time, because it is a new thing, people might require more time, right? So the only thing is that when you drink water, you should not be sitting. You should keep moving around your hands and legs, right? So so usually like 4 liters, 3 to 4 liters of water will be good to have this procedure to make this procedure successful, right? So the upavasa has 2 benefits. One is vairagya, living closer to Paramapurusha than the usual, and also as a physical benefit, the body gets rest from the food, right? And also another benefit is that you have an opportunity to clean your digestive tract, which you never do. So I have been doing this upavasa for now many years now. I do 4 times a month upavasa, and it is extremely beneficial. It just makes your body so light. It gives you that healthy feeling, and it gives you a lot of energy as well, right? The day of the upavasa, first time when you do, you feel very tired, but then slowly when you get used to it, it's not at all such a difficult thing, right? You actually welcome it. When you figure out that tomorrow is upavasa, you don't feel like, oh my god, I'm going to torture myself. It's not like. You just start welcoming it, because your body is designed for upavasa. So you will like it. You would want to give your body that rest that it needs, right, from eating the food. So also we are not aware that that there are food residues which are stuck in the body, and they remain for ages in the body, and they get decayed, they get infected, right? They become rotted and whatnot. So this is a very good opportunity to clean your gut, right? So we've been going like this without cleaning the gut for several years now, right? So but this practice, it's actually a discipline. It is introducing a discipline in your life. It's just like taking a bath outside. It is cleaning your gut, which is very important. Because of not cleaning the gut only, you get all sorts of diseases. All the digestive related diseases that we have is because of not keeping the gut clean, right? By this process, you'll be able to keep the gut clean, and you can avoid all kinds of digestive related diseases, right? So okay, any questions at this point? Okay, there are a few people who haven't done upavasa before, this kind of upavasa and breaking fast before. So Vijaya Bhagini and all, you have any questions? Vijaya Bhagini and Santa Bhagini.
That Ekadashi Upavasam and Amavasa Upavasam, it's going on routinely.
Are you doing this Nirjala Upavasa?
Nirjala Upavasam, my daughter was doing it actually. And Nirjala Upavasa I'm doing every Ekadashi.
Nirjala Upavasa without food? Okay, that is very good.
Sometimes occasionally only, because I'm having some health issues. So our in olden days, our grandmas, what they are doing, and they used to fry the rice and then breaking it. Then they are boiling it and eating it, because at least once in a time. Because
you mean are you talking about the Purungalashi Kanji?
Like that. No, okay. Yeah, it should be boiled, fried. Then
fried in what? Fried in what oil?
No. Just
dry roast.
Just.
Okay.
In olden days, our parties used to do that. Our grandma.
Yeah. So this Nirjala Upavasa is very good for digestive related issues, Bhagini. So yeah. Also this cleaning the gut is also very important. That is very good. Cleaning the gut is very good. So what I want to do now is that we have this document called as how to break fast, right? So I will actually send this link via WhatsApp. So Vijaya Bhagini, can you read this document?
Yes, ma'am. Breaking fast.
Yeah. So even water should not be drunk for 36 hours. So for people, like the process is that we should not drink water and we should not take food for 36 hours, right? That is the process. But then if somebody is not able to do it, right, they're completely thirsty, then for those people in the morning, maybe you can have a little bit of water before you start the process in the fast in the morning. So have a little bit of water in the morning, so that the rest of the day you're not feeling that kind of dryness. But generally speaking, no water and no food. So water also should not be taken. That is the procedure. So what we will do is, like, we'll see how to break the fast. Vijaya Bhagini, you got the document? Vijaya Bhagini, you're on mute. Okay, who can read? Shanta Bhagini, can you read? Are you able to who is able to read now? Can you see my screen? Okay, Shanta Bhagini, read this. Oh, okay. Priya Bhagini, can you read?
No, Bhagini, I'm outside.
Oh, okay. So okay, yeah. Vijaya Bhagini, can you read? You're on mute, Bhagini. Okay, if nobody is reading, then I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. So how to break fast? So so the day before you fast, best is to not eat meat of any kind the day before fasting. Also, do not overeat the night before. Try and take comfortable light meal with sufficient carbohydrates. The note, the fasting period is from sunrise to sunrise, right? So that means the previous day have a light meal. What are the precautions? An important point to be aware of is that by doing 24 to 36 hours dry fast without water, then by its completion the body becomes somewhat dehydrated and is in a delicate and sensitive state. In that case, if one breaks the fast in an abrasive or hasty manner, then not only will you be unable to derive the many benefits of the fast, but it will create harm to the body. Only persons in good health with good energy should fast without water. Sick persons and people in mediocre health should observe fasting, taking plenty of lemon juice and water. Okay, so this is talking about the precaution, right? The body becomes due to the not taking water, the body becomes dehydrated and it's a very delicate state, right? So when you break the fast, you have to be very careful. You should not break it in a hasty manner. And also only people who are in good health should observe this Ekadashi fast. So if you're not in good health, then you can do the fast by taking lemon juice with water, right? So another key point is that the need for water. Another key point is that after a dry fast, upon completing the fast breaking process described below, sufficient water is needed to properly restore the body and help it reach that pristine state. Water is an indispensable part of functioning of the body, and since the human body itself is comprised mostly of water, 60% or so, naturally an adequate amount of water must be taken. So after you break the fast, after you finish the cleaning process, you have to take adequate water to restore your body to the natural state. About cleaning the digestive tract. Since birth, if you have never done the procedure described below, then your digestive tract has never been empty and never been cleaned. Everything needs to be cleaned periodically, and the digestive tract is no exception. It goes on accumulating all sorts of residue and toxins and needs to be fully cleaned regularly, right? So we talked about this, that the gut has never been cleaned, so everything needs cleaning regularly. So the gut needs to be clean. So say one is fasting on a Monday, after having the normal shouts, clearing of the bowels, Monday morning and not eating anything all day, one may think that by Tuesday morning the digestive tract is empty. However, it will be an eye-opening experience to find out what actually comes out in the process of cleaning the digestive tract the Tuesday morning as per the below guideline, right? Okay. So even after fasting, digestive food and waste material remain in the colon, large intestine and small intestine. Sufficient water is needed in order to deliver a proper and thorough cleansing of the intestine as well as the digestive tract. So even after the day of the fasting, if Monday is the fasting day, even after you emptied your bowel, you'll be surprised that on Wednesday morning when you do this procedure, you will see a lot of waste matter coming out of your body, right? Lot of waste material remain in the colon, get stuck in the colon. So sufficient water is needed to do the cleansing. Furthermore, it is well known that water is one of the basic ingredients for the functioning of all the organs.
Shall I read, ma'am? Idanim I can.
Yeah.
Furthermore,
yeah.
It is well known.
Yeah.
There, ma'am. Furthermore, it is well known that water is one of basic ingredients for the functioning of all the organs. After fasting, a sufficient amount must be taken. Sufficient amount of water, ma'am? After fasting, a sufficient amount
of water.
Water must be taken to compensate for the deficit. And as discussed below, water is needed in order to flush the waste from the body. So on both these accounts and for other reasons as well, the body needs an adequate amount of water on the morning of a breaking fast.
So after breaking the fast and following the procedure, you need to take adequate amount of water, right? So that day you should not be you should be conscious enough to take adequate more water than required, because you have fasted the previous day, right, without taking water. So you need to take adequate amount of water after breaking the fast. Okay, go ahead. Point of awareness, read that, Bhagini.
Mahoday, point of awareness, 2 or even 3 glasses of water is not nearly enough for the breaking process. On breaking fast, morning, the digestive system should first be cleansed thoroughly from top to bottom with lemon, salt water. Then fresh water should be taken to rehydrate, and then solid food can be taken, not beforehand.
Go ahead, continue.
Astu ma'am. Breaking the fast itself, how to process. Be sure to budget 2 to 3 hours for completing the following process. If it is your first time, give yourself 3 hours. It will take a minimum of 90 minutes. For most people, it takes 2.5 hours. But the first time, best is to give yourself more time, so there is no rush and you can take your time. Squeeze a quarter or half of a lemon or lime into a bowl. The size of the bowl should be at least 1 liter. Be sure that the individual cells of the lemon or lime are broken to maximize the juice. You can repeatedly poke a knife into an open face of a lemon or lime before squeezing the lemon or lime into your bowl. That will help bring more juice. The bowl, container, bottle you use should be made of steel or glass or ceramic, not plastic. Add 1.5 or 2 teaspoons flat, not heaping, of salt to the lemon lime juice and mix. Note, some people need less salt, as explained further down. Any salt will work. Black salt many find to be more pleasant to drink. Add 1 liter of warm water. If you add hot water, then leave room to add cold water from the sink. 4th point, the lemon salt water mixture should be distinctly salty to taste, but not overly salt. If your mixture is not sufficiently salt, then little by little more can be added. And if really it is already too salty, then simply dilute your mixture by adding more warm water. Please be aware, too much salt will invite nausea and even vomiting. You will be able to recognize this immediately by the taste. Too little salt will not allow you to break the fast properly. You will urinate instead of defecate. This salt solution will be eliminated from the body in the next hour or two. So there will be much of a lingering effect of all this.
There will not be much of lingering effect of the sodium.
Fifth point, drink this 1 liter of lemon salt mixture not in one gulp per second, but in a series of comfortable sips and swallows over the course of a few minutes or less without bloating the stomach. Be careful not to take too much time.
Yeah, so when you have the salt water, warm salt water with lemon, so you just need to sip it little by little. Don't just gulp it all along, right? And also make sure that sometimes when you keep drinking, right, you'll feel bloated. So when you feel bloated, just walk around a little bit and then continue drinking the second liter, right? So even if you're feeling very bloated and you're feeling full, then don't keep drinking. Just wait for a few minutes, just walk around and then continue to drink the second liter. Okay, continue, Bhagini. After finishing this sixth point.
The arms on the inhale and then exhale.
No, the sixth point, after finishing the initial round of salty lemon water, walk around for a few minutes.
This initial round as the salty lemon water, walk around for a few minutes either in the fresh air or indoors. Do not remain in a seated position. At a minimum, stand up. Best is to walk around. Then you may gently stretch the upper body by raising the arms on the inhale and then exhaling and gently bending to the side, and repeat by bending to the opposite direction. This gently helps to extend the cleansing process. Do not sit down and remain still, as that will severely hinder the process of digestion and cleaning. As soon as you feel ready, drink the next round of salt water. Prepare it this time without lemon, 1.5 or 2 flat teaspoons of salt. Then add 1 liter of warm water. Note, it is important not to wait too long between rounds. As soon as the stomach feels comfortable, one should again drink. A good guideline to use is 1 liter every 30 minutes. So in 1 hour, you will have taken 2 liters of this salt water. In 90 minutes, you will have taken 3 liters of it. If you are ready for the second liter before 30 minutes is over, that's fine. But be sure you feel like the stomach has emptied a bit and has room for more water. If that is not the case, walk around for some time and the stomach will clear and you will feel ready to drink more. After the second round, be sure to walk around and bend the torso side to side. Remember, do not sit down or remain still, as that will severely hinder the process of digestion and clearing. 10th point, if you do not have a strong urge to go to the bathroom, continue to walk and drink warm water with the salt added as described above. Lemon is not needed after the first liter. By this process of drinking and walking, a strong urge will be released. Therefore, thereafter more and more solids and liquids will be released via the rectum. This will also be brown at the beginning, but do not worry.
Again, 11th point you read again.
By this process of drinking and walking, a strong urge will come to go to the toilet. You will feel this urge between half an hour to 1 hour after you have begun to drink the lemon salt water. Note, if you urinate first, it means that not a sufficient amount of salt and you was used. But really, for more people, 2 teaspoons of salt per liter of water for the first 2 rounds should work fine. 12th point, initially a very strong smelling brown waste matter will be released. Thereafter, more and more solids and liquids will be released via the rectum. This will also be brown at the beginning, but do not worry that you have been stricken with a severe case of diarrhea. This is the initial stage of cleaning out the digestive tract. In this process of cleansing, one might visit the toilet between
3 to 5 times or more. Or you may go less frequently.
One might visit the toilet between 3 to 5 times or more. Or you may go less frequently but sit for longer periods. Do not suppress the urge. When the impulse comes, go straight to the toilet. Note, for those who use toilet paper, repeated use of paper during this process may cause irritation. Using of water to cleanse is preferred. It is more gentle and far more effective in cleaning the anus and the surrounding area. Fill a bucket of water and use a designated dip cup to pour water down the backside. The waste material will turn from brown and somewhat solid to yellowish and liquidy until finally being a completely clear liquid, just like plain water, having no smell or color. Once a completely clear liquid comes, be assured the entire digestive tract is clean, including the intestines, colon, and the stomach, etc. Depending on the person, it will take from 2 to 4 liters of salted water to complete this process of defecating and clearing the digestive tract. At this point, to switch over from drinking a salted mixture and take 1 liter of pure fresh water without any salt. This fresh water will help hydrate the body and aid in the cleansing process. Drinking 1 or 2 liters is quite helpful, both for clearing and to rehydrating. In sum, your cleansing process is complete when what is coming out in the toilet has no color, no odor, and contains no particulate matter. When you see it, it should appear as clear water with nothing in it. And having achieved this state of perfect cleansing of the digestive tract, you have then taken at least 1 liter of plain water for the rehydration. At this point, the entire process is complete. 17th point, by this thorough process of cleansing, a very little and a healthy feeling will consume the body. One will feel very happy, fresh and energetic. It's of course true, ma'am. 18. Within 10 to 20 minutes of slight feeling of hunger will come. At that point, you may eat 2 to 3 ripe bananas depending on the size. The bananas should be soft and ripe, not green and hard. Be sure to wait until you feel hunger to take the bananas. If you still feel full from the water and do not have hunger, walk around sometime and the water will quickly pass from the stomach and hunger will come. 19th point, after taking a few bananas, be careful um, not to overeat or fill the stomach completely. Wait approximately 5 to 10 minutes. 28th point, when strong hunger comes, take some easily digestible food like other sorts of fruits and then well hydrated rice and vegetables. Khichdi,
Khichdi.
or whatever,
Khichdi.
uh, or whatever is conveniently available. Do not take heavily spiced or oily food or processed food. Avoid eating too much dry food like bread or acidic food like pasta. Aim for more simple food like soups and khichdi. After having taken all that, salt in the cleaning process. This is a good time for a new experience. Um, Food without added salt. There is no nutritional food for adding salt.
Nutritional need for adding salt.
No nutritional need for adding salt to food. And on this day, if you take your food without salt, you may find that you like it. This way you get the true taste of the vegetables and the grains themselves. 21st point, throughout the day, care should be taken to continue to drink plenty of fresh water in small amounts, but not at the same time as eating. This will help ensure the solid food gets digested properly, and it will also keep the body hydrated. Avoid processed beverages. Taking proper care. One should also keep in mind that breaking fast is a highly individualized process. One should be gentle, have sufficient time, and listen to one's own body. This is a very important and a delicate subject. Be sure to take proper care to see what works for you. It gets easier and easier each time you do this. You are always welcome to call or email me with questions or send via WhatsApp. This is a very important message, Mahodaya, to clean the intestine. Very, very important. I like it very. This is the first time I'm doing it, and I'm planning to do it also. So we should not sit in one place. We have to walk till we are having that sensation of a urine and whatever it comes. Then after that also we have to do like that. It's just some sort of when the people are using diarrhea, that time they are giving this salt.
It's diarrhea, but it's actually not diarrhea. You're just cleaning your system.
It's good, ma'am. It's very,
very good. Okay, so this is the process. I just thought that it's good to read this completely. So, do you guys have any questions at this point? If not, we'll end the session over here.
For each and every human being, ma'am. So far we haven't come up because we are not at all having any time. We are just running after the work and earning money also. We are not at all taking care of our body. So it is must. This is each and every human being have to read and follow this at least in a mentioned way. The instruction also followed.
Well said, Bhagini. Yes, definitely. All of us need to be educated on this. It's very important that to take care of our gut. Important thing. Yeah.
Unless the urge comes, we should not go to toilet. We have to walk once again, and then after that, also light food, not heavy food like what you mentioned, oily or dried food like bread.
This is the biggest mistake. Harming yourself if you take heavy food. So your body is in a very delicate condition after Upavasa, right? So you should only take light food. If you end up eating dry food or heavy food, then you're just spoiling your system, right? It will lead to some problems. So after the Upavasa, we have to be very careful to eat light food, not to eat heavy food. Okay.
It's very nice, and also very important for every human being.
Yeah, very nice, Bhagni. So if time is up, so we'll wrap the session over here. If you have any questions, you can also put it on WhatsApp, and I want all of you guys to try it out, right? Try it out, and I will be posting the Ekadashi dates on the WhatsApp as well. Then we have to do the fasting. Okay.
अस्तु मैम धन्यवादः.
Oh, castor oil. Castor oil is traditionally used, and you also try that how to use castor oil. So I don't know what is the procedure for doing the castor oil thing. So I can find out and let you know. Yeah, I also know that castor oil is being used, but the question is, can castor oil be a replacement for this? I am not sure. I'm not sure. This is the process that they follow. Again, we don't want to be taking oil, right? So that is what is the thing. We don't want to be taking oil. So I think the Ayurvedic physicians recommend they have this procedure on how to do with the castor oil. So I am not an expert in that, but I have heard that people use castor oil, but what is the process, I don't know. Yeah, I will have to find out on that if castor oil can be used. Okay, so I will let you know if. And also without whatever 36 hours, saline water may be better. Actually with this salt water it works perfectly fine, Bhagini. So I'm not sure why you would want saline water. Saline water, I think if you're going to do some procedure in the hospital, right, like endoscopy and all that, at that time they give you that specific saline water to clean your gut. But for our purposes, when we are doing at home, I don't think we need saline water. We can just do it with salt water. It works perfectly fine. No, I thought you're talking about some water that is available in the hospitals. Is it what you're no you're saying that salt water is what you're referring to, right? Yes, and also without water for 36 hours, saline water may be better. We have to use salt water only. Why are you saying saline water may be better? The process that we just read is that we have to take salt water. We have to be without whether you are with water, without water. If people are doing the fast with little bit of water, even for those people you have to take the salt water. Yeah, however you're breaking the fast, even on the fasting day, if you're taking some some water, lemon water with lemon water throughout the day, even for those people you have to take salt water for breaking this fast. Okay. अस्तु तर्हि धन्यवादः, नमस्कारः.
धन्यवादः महोदय. शुभरात्रिः.
धन्यवादः, नमस्कारः.